running, never stopping when you feel you're getting nowhere. Understanding where you're headed doesn't matter if they don't care. And you wonder why it's taken such a long time for the answers to the questions that you can't find. Just to try and stop and love your neighbor even if it's not fair. Your life is like one bandage, spinning dice into a never-ending darkness, and your seasons pass you by as you're waiting for the dawn.
We have a big rally here, Claver, this Saturday.
Daniel was telling me about it, and he talked to me about it. Give me the 411 because everybody else needs to know too.
Well, it was Act for America, and I have Terry Horn right now on the Newsmaker line. Terry,
Hey,
tell
Joanne.
me about your experiences down there.
Well, hello there, Doc.
Good to have you on the show today. I appreciate you taking the time to call in. I know you're very busy.
Yes, sir. It's all okay. It was a really good turnout, to see everybody come together and, for a cause and to kind of take a stand for our Texas history.
Indeed, it was. Quite frankly, I go to a lot of events. I sponsored a lot of events, and this was the best turnout I've seen at an event in 2 years, Terry.
Oh, this was my first one, and that we could make, and it was just amazing to see the number of folks from all walks of life from all over the place there.
Well, so I got Chip on the call. Come on in here, Chip.
Good afternoon, my friend.
Glad to have you here. I believe you're calling in about the event as well. Introduce yourself to the listeners on the Amazing Doc Greene Show.
All right. Yes, I'm Chip Matthews. I'm a minister and also a businessman, and I'm one of the coordinators for Act for America. The other person is Lou Luchinian.
Lou Luchina, yes. Good friend of mine, liberty activist.
Yeah.
We've been to many events together, me and Lou.
Exactly. He is hardworking. I went alongside him for this event in Houston at the battleground, at the battleship there at the park.
Battleship, Texas, yes.
Yeah, he worked tirelessly on this, and we got her done. And it was awesome. We had great support from the 3%ers, the Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, Liberty Oathers, just a whole bunch of people, and then just a bunch of patriots. We had probably about 150, maybe a little more when it peaked. The opposition had about 35, maybe 40. And didn't have one American flag on the opposition side. They had a Mexican flag. They had the flag of Mexico there. And we must have had 50 American flags. But, I mean, the spirit was there. The presence was there. The patriotic spirit for America was there. It was an awesome afternoon. We really made a strong point.
Well, Chip, I'd like to get some of those photos up on my Facebook page. If you got some you could put on there, I'd greatly appreciate it. And because we want people to see it. I had planned to make both rallies, but the first rally, which I stopped at 10 a.m., it was huge, and I had a little trouble getting out of there. It was like old home week. Every time I turned around and started to leave, I'd run into another friend. So it was a very cool event.
Yeah. I mean, I was glad that was happening in Herman Park. From what I heard, it totally scared the opposition. There was none, from what I heard.
Well, I heard they had about 13 or 14 people, but the police got there very early. They cordoned off the entire place. You couldn't park within half a mile. And when I got there, they immediately walked up to me. Of course, I always go armed everywhere I go, but they immediately walked up to me. Are you here for the rally? Yeah, I think I'm supposed to speak today. Okay, we'll walk you in. And because there were a couple of other groups there, I kind of wanted to go talk to them. They wouldn't let me. They said, no, we'll walk you right into your rally. So the police were there in force. I can't imagine how many Houston cops were at that event. And I don't know if you had a law enforcement presence out where you were or not, Chip.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And they were fantastic, man. We had the local park police. We had Harris. We had a lot of police coverage, and they were great. They were great. They just handled it great. Plus, of course, you've got insiders like the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, Proud Boys, Sons of Liberty. All these guys and women were all carrying not rifles, but the cool thing was I got there at 9, and they were already there at 7:30, staking out the place. They were on the outside perimeter with long guns, which weren't allowed in the park, but they swept the
Really?
park.
Now wait just a dadgum minute. What do you mean long guns weren't allowed in the park? Because at Herman Park, I've never seen such a well-armed bunch. I mean, we had probably around 800 people, and every one of them was carrying a long gun. All of them had pistols on their sides. It was incredible. And you're telling me at the San Jacinto Monument they didn't have any guns? Is that what you're saying?
They had guns, but you could not have long guns inside the park. And I don't know if that was a park policy. I think it was, actually, because when Jay and I went there, they let it be known that we don't allow long guns.
That doesn't make any
So
sense.
I think that was a park policy over there. But
Yeah,
they came in, they showed up early, and they were on the outside perimeters, watching with long guns because it was legal outside the park.
Claver, chime in there. What did you say?
Well, on the grounds of the state capitol, the Pink Dome, aren't long guns allowed?
Certainly they are.
Well, I mean, you can't get more prominent state property than that. Why would they disapprove, of people carrying legally their long guns as the Texas Constitution allows?
Well,
At
I
the-
think
at the
it's
San Jacinto Monument. That's government property as well. They can't do that.
I think it's a case of petty tyrants, and knowing there's nothing you could do about it. I don't know. Hey Terry, how many people did you see with guns when you were down there? This is your first rally.
Yeah, I was at Herman Park, and I was at sidearm and rifle slung, and just about every person out there had a rifle slung.
Yeah, and guess what? We had nearly 800 people down there, all of them armed to the teeth. And how many people got shot?
Not a one.
And that's the point, exactly.
Not a
That's the
one.
point.
Yeah, it's funny
I don't know
because
what that policy is, but I also had a sheriff call me prior to the event, and he said the same thing. So I'm not as up on things with you gun. I mean, Obama did sell me a gun a couple of years ago, but I'm not as up on the whole gun thing as you guys are. But we were just following the instructions of the police there.
Well, I guess we didn't want to create an international incident, but of course I live streamed my walk into the park because for any infringement on my God-given rights, and that really ticks me off, Chip, that you guys had that problem over there.
Well,
Yeah.
I hear you.
But I was involved in an event at the San Jacinto Monument a couple of years ago, though, and me and a friend of mine, Johnny Johnson, God rest his soul, we happened to be out passing out a little literature around the monument, and one of the park police said, "You guys get your ass back in that free speech zone, or right now I'm going to arrest you." So,
Really?
yeah, and I'm thinking, wow, I remember a time in this country when the entire United States was a free speech zone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know. That's really gotten crazy today. Really crazy today. I don't understand it, man.
And
They had us in separate... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, they had us in separate pens, so to speak. There was quite a distance between us. They had to expand our pen, though, which was encouraging. And,
Indeed.
But when they started chanting about women's rights, I was like, what the heck? When the opposition was chanting about women's rights, I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? These people are clueless. They really were, man. They had one Mexican flag. They played stuff in Spanish. If you didn't know Spanish, you didn't even know what they were saying. had Middle Eastern annoying. I mean, it was annoying. Maybe it was the speakers or what, but just annoying music playing and stuff like that. It was like, but we were all cool, and we did the Pledge of Allegiance like a half a dozen times. Star Spangled Banner. I prayed over the event. It was really a blessing.
Well, I think it's awesome that so many patriots turned out. And Terry, is this going to be your last rally or what?
Oh, no, sir. I'll see more in the future if I can get to them.
Well, the best way to find out about these rallies, guys, is to listen to my show, RagingElePhantsRadio.com. We cover all this stuff. We cover it all the time. And quite frankly, when it comes to Texas and what's going on in Texas government, Raging Elephants Radio is pretty much your only source. On your network news.
Trusted source.
Well, yes, the only trusted source. Chip, aren't you out of San Antonio?
No, nope, I'm in Houston.
Well, I mean, if you listen to Channel 13, Channel 11, Channel 2, yeah, they'll tell you the building was on fire today and they had this car wreck and they shut down the freeway. They're going to talk about all that stuff, but who's going to tell you what's going on in Texas politics? Who's going to talk about the Texas legislature? And the answer is none of those guys. Only on Raging Elephants Radio you're going to get that kind of information.
Yes, that's awesome, man. That's a great source.
So, by the way, Jeffrey, the anchorman, has chimed in. He said no long guns are not allowed on the Capitol guns, just open carry or concealed carry. I don't know. I would have sworn at my last event we had some guys up there with long guns.
But anchorman is pretty knowledgeable.
But I also know that the Black Lives Matter guys came up there. They were all carrying long guns on the Capitol, and there were no arrests.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we need to double check with Open Carry Preacher on that.
Yeah.
Anybody that would know, he would know, since he was there when people's ribs, or you were there when people's ribs got busted up.
Oh, I was there. I shot the video. In fact, that video got carried on Fox News National out of New York.
That's
because,
right.
Thomas Jefferson, that's his
real name.
No, that's his pseudonym.
That's his pseudonym. That's his nom de guerre.
His nom de guerre, and Thomas Jefferson was the guy that got his ribs broken.
Yeah. Sitting there with a toy gun.
Yeah, sitting there with a toy gun,
under a
sitting
tree.
there under a tree.
Trying to just, avoid the Texas heat and the humidity, just chilling out, and they went up.
Wasn't creating any problem, wasn't talking to anybody.
Went thug on him and literally broke his ribs.
Yeah, and of course, if you see the video, there's like 8 bulls around there, and and they start the ticket book and they start passing it around from the captain to the sergeant, from the sergeant to the corporal, and until they get down to the new guy on the totem pole, they made him write the ticket.
Yeah,
and you could tell he's very uncomfortable because you can see this guy's not doing anything. But he's the low man on the totem pole, so he's got to write the ticket. Next thing you know, they got him face down on the ground, cuffing him and dragging him off, broke his rib right there. I watched it happen.
But on that day, weren't there long guns there on that day, Doc?
What did they arrest him for? What was he doing?
Oh, well, they arrested him because he had a black powder pistol on his hip, and this is back when they didn't allow that sort of liberty at the Capitol. And
this is pre-open carry, licensed open carry.
And they were greatly offended that he would have a black powder pistol on his hip, even though it's specifically called out in Texas law as not being a firearm. So
the language actually in the statute says that it is not called a firearm, and they went up. But that's DPS. Isn't it ironic that DPS would break somebody's rib that's actually following Texas law, Texas Constitution,
Yes.
Second Amendment rights, and you have a whole gallery of illegals, and you've got state representatives on the floor leading them in chants, and DPS are treating them like pregnant women.
yeah, well, you heard Matt Rinaldi on my show, and he talked about they even threatened his life.
Yeah.
And all Matt Rinaldi did is say, well, I see these guys are criminals. I called ICE. ICE didn't come, by the way, because ICE never comes. But nonetheless, that happened. On the other hand, then there's Amy Hedke, don't forget. Here's just a Texas homeschool mom videoing a hearing up there, and they drag her out in handcuffs, throw her in a DPS car, drag her downtown, strip her naked, and throw her in a padded cell and leave her there for 8 hours.
Now, here's the other side of that story, Doc. I've got video I've got video of
crazy.
an atheist. You know that atheist video that I was putting up all the time,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah.
atheist that was testifying this past session against freedom for teachers.
Yeah.
Freedom for Teachers Act would allow them to give opposite opinions on climate change and stuff like that, right? Well, guess what? The atheist was in there videotaping because it's on his website, and somebody was using some sort of device. They didn't arrest him. Now it was a different committee, but it was
probably
Securities Committee versus Byron Cook's committee.
Yeah,
but
it
yet
probably
still,
wasn't chaired by Lord Byron Crook.
yeah, but still, I mean, if it's so illegal, there's the atheist. It's on his website. The same testimony that I recorded, they recorded with their device in the chambers of the Public Education Committee. It's right there. Amy Hedke gets dragged out and is strip searched.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely uncalled for. But, Chip, this is the kind of stuff we talk about here at Raging Elephants Radio and on the Doc Greene Show on American Voice Radio. We talk about this kind of stuff because these are infringements on your liberty that do not make the 10 o'clock news.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it needs to be spoken out. Absolutely.
And that's
really needs to go.
That's why I'm so glad to have Terry here, because Terry, we need you as part of the movement. We need you. We need all your sisters and brothers.
Oh, most definitely. I enjoyed it, and we went in, not knowing exactly, what might or might not happen, but thankfully it, turned out peacefully. But we made a stand, you know what I mean, and people need to wake up and think, if we don't start standing up, this is going to continue on, and what are we going to be left with?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, and I really, really am glad to see people taking a stand and fighting back. They've done that. I'm sure you saw out there in San Diego. CARE basically was behind in the San Diego district schools, trying to promote, actually getting them to have a curriculum on Islam in the schools in order to supposedly fend off bullying and Islamic phobia.
Well,
which
that's California. You got worse stuff happening right here in Texas.
I will give the credit is there's now all these parents were in an uproar and went to a council meeting and gave their opinion. And the cool thing is they all really knew who CARE was. Unindicted co-conspirators.
That's right.
CARE people that were deported or thrown in prison during the Holy Land. These people knew that, and they were presenting their case and suing the district now.
Well, Chip, I don't know if you're aware, but we have right here in Houston, and Terry, if you knew about this, let me know too. We have right here in Houston a full Islamic immersion school paid for by the Houston Independent School District. And they speak nothing but Islam.
That's with Liz. Is that where you're
Yeah, Liz Tice knows all about it. And
sure.
They don't speak anything but Arabic there, and they bring in teachers from the Middle East that are not even certified to be teachers in the United States. And it's all paid for by your tax dollars. That's right here in Houston.
Yes, definitely. No, I know it. And, it works so well, that Saudi money paying off the colleges in order to get Islamic studies in the colleges, trade off for a library or something like that, paying for a library, that now they're pushing it in the high schools, the junior highs, and, people are getting pissed. People are getting angry. Parents are starting to rise up, which I'm really glad to see. Because this is just all part of their agenda. This is all part of what CARE is about, and these other Islamic organizations. And, talk about, ironic is these people, Muslims come to this country one way or another, legally, illegally, extended visas, to refugees, what have you. They come here from those hellholes over there, and they come here and they want to, incorporate their religion and their Sharia laws here to take us down there. I mean, it doesn't make sense. We cannot let this happen. I mean, they're escaping the very things that they want to indict here. They want to infiltrate here and promote here, the very things that they're escaping from over there. That we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let that happen. Act for America's got other things coming up. I don't know all the details yet, but they're not backing down on this. And CARE came out and said, this is a hate group, blah, blah, blah. That's their tactic.
Yeah, we hate it. We hate it that they're trying to take over the United States and destroy our Constitution. Yeah, we hate that.
Exactly. So, that's ironic, that they're pushing this agenda that doesn't, is a disaster in their own countries and trying to promote that and put us all under Sharia. But, religion of peace. Yeah, peace by submission to what? Allah, Islam, and Sharia law. Ain't going to happen, man. But America's got to wake up and take a strong stand. I mean, thank God we got Trump in there.
Well, indeed, and I want to say hi to Gary also with the Alamo Militia. He brought a whole bunch of guys over from San Antonio. We had people from Alabama at this event. And, I mean, this was huge, and you guys did a fabulous job of organizing this thing. I think we only had one incident, really, of note, and that was, I think, some guy maybe got a heat stroke or something. But the medical staff on hand immediately took care of that and got him stabilized. It was just a great event, and I'm so happy to have gotten to be there and be a part of it.
Myself as well. I've recently come running by and we was watching to see where they was going off to, and I believe you're right. It was I believe it was a fellow up in the bathroom from heat or something, I think.
So, but they had the proper crew there. Look, this is just an outstanding event. And Chip, the next time you do one of these, man, get a hold of me earlier so that we can properly promote it and let people know about it because...
absolutely. I really, I believe this is just the beginning. Act for America is not going to back down with this. And I will definitely let you know about events coming up. I'm looking forward to it myself. And I think there's going to be even more people coming out because people did get it kind of late notice. And even Jay and I, there was somebody else that was supposed to originally head it up and they backed out. I think they got some threats or something. They backed out. So Jay took it, and I said, "Hey, I'll help you."
Well,
and,
that's because Jay ain't afraid of nobody. Jay is not afraid, man.
Great. Jay is great, man. He's diligent, very knowledgeable, hardworking guy, a strong believer. He's a good guy.
Oh, definitely. And Terry, were you there by yourself, or did you bring some friends?
No, sir. Me and Paul drove up from Quitman about a 4.5-hour drive to get there. We left Friday.
Well, I'm really glad to have gotten to talk to you, and thank you for coming. I hope that you will put the hashtag #AmazingDocGreene show on your daily listening list because we need you, and we need all the folks in Quitman.
Oh, yeah. We need folks from all over the place out.
And I got to say hi to all my friends from Fredericksburg over there and all you guys at the Smoke Depot. I got to say hi to you guys. I appreciate your support in Fredericksburg. We're on 104.9 FM in Fredericksburg. And, we just appreciate everybody that listens, all of our listeners up in Dallas and all of our lists. Well, I mean, we're all over Texas. I mean, Jeffrey right now, he's in the chat room. He's up in the Dallas area. And Gary said there also was a guy from North Carolina that came in. Took a 30-hour bus trip just to be here. 30 hours on the bus just to stand up for liberty. That's impressive.
Wow. That is awesome.
I also heard that there was a young man from Costa Rica there as well.
Well, a lot of people want liberty. A lot of people understand that if you destroy your history, you destroy your foundation. And
that's it.
You have anything else you want to add to this, Claver, before we hit the break? Got the Apostle Claver T. Kamauimani, the founder and owner of Raging Elephants Radio here today.
Activism is always good, and when you have new activists come out like Terry and willing to bring others along, that's how things actually get done. And I know, Doc, that you're a believer in showing up. One of the things that you've been complaining about for a while has been this downturn in attendance at these rallies. So I know
Yes.
you're very buoyed by the high attendance this past weekend, and that portends great things. I hope the momentum continues. I hope somebody was out there capturing the data so that people could stay in contact with each other, whoever the organizing organizations were. These are very important matters, and I believe what's happening here, Doc, is media organizations like ourselves are touching more and more Texans, and they're finding out about these things as more liberty-oriented journalistic entities really launch around the state. So the Patriots are starting to get the information, what's happening, where it's going to be, what it's all about, what they need to do. That's a good thing. We're moving in the right direction. It's incremental. It's not the huge leaps we would like, but we're moving in the right direction. And I think these past weekends' rallies are evidence of that.
Well, there should have been 10,000 people at this rally.
And
but
you're
the
never
fact of the
satisfied,
matter is,
Doc.
so-
You're just never satisfied.
But
okay?
it was a good rally. It's one of the best ones
If it
I've
was
ever been.
50,000, you'd say it'd be 100,000. If it was 100,000, you would say it should have been 500,000. If it was 500,000, you'd be saying it should have been a million Texan march. That's what it should have been.
He knows me well. He does.
Yeah, I think the momentum is actually going to build. I really do. The people that came out to the event at Battleground, they were excited to be there. You know what I mean? They had real purpose. They were excited. Some of them said, hey, please let us know when the next one is coming. So, there was a lot of excitement. I'd like to plug an event if I have just a minute.
Yeah, go ahead. Put it on. We're going to go to break right after this, so let's have it.
Okay. Act for America Houston is going to have, actually tonight, is going to have Dr. Daniel Scott, who is the only person on this planet who's been prosecuted for hate speech on 2 continents.
Oh, my goodness.
As a consequence of speaking the truth about Islam. He's going to be speaking tonight at 7 p.m. at the West Houston Bible Church. That's at 1500 West Sam Houston Parkway North, number 104, and that's Houston 77043.
Oh, that's my
And
zip
that's
code.
tonight at 7 o'clock. And then Phil Haney is going to be in, who wrote the book See Something, Say Nothing, is going to be in on the 28th. And we really want to build up Act for America here in Houston.
One more time, the name of the church, please.
It's West Houston Bible
Sure.
Church. That's right there on the Beltway.
Houston Bible Church, 1500 West Sam Houston Parkway, near I-10 and Sam Houston Parkway, number 104, and that's 7743.
Yeah, it's going to be on.
People to come out. It's going to be, and people are really going to learn a lot.
That's going to be on the northbound side of the Sam Houston between Westview and Hammerley.
Yep, that's it.
I-10, north of I-10, just north of I-10.
And south of Clay. So north of I-10, south of Clay. It's going to be on the northbound side, West Houston Bible Church tonight, 7 p.m. Yeah, the Apostle Claver lives right in that area, as a matter of fact.
Awesome. Come on out. Hey, I'm going to be there. I'd love to meet you, Apostle.
I wish I could make it out, man. You got to like Doc says, you got to let us know these things in advance, my brother. You got to let us know these things in advance. I would have loved.
Next time, keep this in mind. At this, I believe it's at the same location, but I'll let you know, Doc. June 28th, which is a Wednesday, I believe. It's going to be Phil Haney from ex-Homeland Security that was told to scrub all this information. Obama told us to scrub all this information on possible terrorists and what have you. Wrote a book, bestseller, great guy, great patriot, and he's going to be there on the 28th. So now you know.
All right, so that's Phil Haney.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down. And what organization was he originally with?
Well, he was, I believe, Homeland Security, and he was a whistleblower. He came out and just blew it wide open. He was on Hannity and all programs everywhere. And he wrote the bestseller, See Something, Say Nothing.
All right, I'm writing that down here so I'll have it. And that's going to be on the 28th at 7 p.m., same place, right? I think I lost Chip. It's going to be at the same place, the West Houston Bible Church. And once again, that's just north of I-10, just south of Hammerley, just below Clay there. And I hope you guys will go out and check that out. I may try to make that myself, Apostle.
Yeah. If we know in advance and probably get some video on that, that would be awesome.
So that's what we're going to try to do with that. And I got to hit this break. We're going to be right back. Take it away, Frank. And the doctor is in. I want to thank you guys for being on the call today. Terry is here. We wanted to talk a little bit about selfdefensefund.com, big sponsor for the show, selfdefensefund.com. Terry, come on back in here.
I'm here, Doc.
So you were there, and you got to see selfdefensefund.com in action on Saturday, I believe.
Yes, sir. I was there, and being a first-timer, going to a rally, I wasn't sure what to expect, you know what I mean? Is the saying goes, we always prepare and hope, that we don't, or what, if there's no trouble or what have you. But as I was getting myself prepared and that, with my IDs, I had my self-defense fund card off in there, because a lot of people may not know that self-defense fund will still have your back, through rallies and what have you.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. See, a lot of the other, handgun defense groups, if you're at a rally and you get in a jam, they will not protect you because they say, well, you were asking for trouble. But Self-Defense Fund, on the other hand, understands that you did not give up your constitutional rights just because you were there protesting somebody violating them.
Exactly. And I love that, that while we're out, defending, taking a stand, or, what have you, that while we're out doing our part, Self-Defense Fund has our back and will do their part.
They do indeed. And, of course, that's why I keep my selfdefensefund.com card right behind my concealed carry license, because, and I'll hold it up for the camera here, because you never know when you're going to have a problem. And I kind of expected trouble down there Saturday, but the cops were great, and we just didn't have any trouble down there. But
you just defended yourself with a gun. The police are called, and you're potentially involved in a homicide. But it was self-defense. At this point, you are not in your right mind. No one ever is when they are in fear for their life and defend themselves. Anything you say can and will be used in a court of law, both civilly and criminally. Fortunately, you have selfdefensefund.com. We are the National Association for Legal Gun Defense, and we protect our members nationally in all 50 states, up to $1 million per incident per member. Let us do the talking for you and visit selfdefensefund.com. Any weapon, any state, anytime.
Run away.